guys, we are working on various devices and all. Okay, but main one of the important operating system which you have to focus, okay, during your activities is Windows. It is very important for us, okay, to learn what is Windows, what is the file system, okay, and all these such kind of permissions, all those things. It is very important for us. Okay, so first of all, let's start with you know we'll start with just Windows itself. Okay, guys, you remember, okay, one thing that earlier in the sense, like maybe 80s, okay, uh, like we used to have only the computers with Unix based. Yeah, I don't even say Linux also just started. Okay, but mainly Unix based opens. Like Linux is nothing but providing more utilities within the single Unix platform itself, and on top of that, some GUI also. If you want, you can keep. Okay, without you know GUI also, it can be a Linux only. But the mainly thing is some components you can keep on it on top of Unix. Okay, so we used to have only Unix. Okay, Unix is very good. Sorry, we mean okay, it's very good. Some programming for all your banking, all these things earlier, olden days. Like even whether you believe it or 1960s and all, you have credit cards and all those, like those days credit cards means not a small thing. India, we are started seeing only maybe in last 20 years, maybe some people who started you know getting the cards, maybe not even 20 or 10, 15 years maximum, I think. Okay, maybe before to that, if it might be there, but like we don't know that context. Okay, so these, like US and all, they were building, Europe and all, they were building complex systems on Unix platforms. Okay, um, they used to have big servers and all, very good, everything is fine. Okay, but one challenges they faced. Okay, this is like not used for personal, like you and me as an end user. Okay, we are not using it at all. Okay, so there is some company called as Xerox. Okay, these guys were started developing one you know operating system. Okay, which is something like having first uh, GUI based operating system. GUI based operating system. So what is meant by operating system? Okay, it is like having some hardware. On top of that, they will build some kernel, correct, right? Which to access that hardware. Okay, they'll have some hardware first, hardware. Okay, and on top of that, they will build some kernel. Okay, and to access that hardware, and to accessing that kernel, you need something called as operating system, correct, right? No operating system, you know it is waste of using, you know like you cannot uh, use any of those hardware or any components. Someone should be there operating the kernel and users. Okay, so operating system came into the picture. Okay, and now on top of that, you have operating system, you have all these what you can say applications are built, like your Zoom application, calculator application, your DNS application, your network application. Okay, on top of it, they have built, that is applications. Okay, it is built. Okay, now if you see, it is like an onion. Okay, so hardware, everything will be known to kernel. Whatever the kernel known, understand, will be like telling it to OS. Okay, OS will give some audio I want to play. It will tell it to audio drivers which are there in the kernel, and then it will give it to that drivers will give it to the um, hardware, and hardware will play the music. Okay, or my voice, whatever it is. So if I want, like to do something like, I am launched a Zoom application, I started talking to you, and I'm giving to the operating system, and operating system is giving it to the kernel, and kernel is giving it to the, you know, you. Okay, so on the hardware. Okay, so that is how. So this is like, the typical architecture, the typical operating system, how, the entire computer in layered format, how you can say. So hardware is this. Kernel means nothing but the drivers. Okay, like, your like your audio is not working. What you'll do, you take an application, you install, operating system specific, whatever the motherboard you have, to that hardware. You will identify the audio drivers or, you know uh, video drivers. Correct, right? You will give the model. Correct, right? Model means what? They know that what is the motherboard in it. They know what is the processor in it. So for that specific drivers, they will keep it ready. What are those drivers? When you install it as an application, it is nothing but the kernel is going to, get updated. Some kernel software gets updated. Whatever the problem is there, if it is not a hardware problem, if it is just some corrupted software, means it will get rectified, and again you will be able to see audio, video, or, Bluetooth, or, Wi-Fi, everything successfully, based on what type of drivers. Okay, if you say like, uh think pad, um E4, uh carbon. Okay, uh drivers. Okay, if you click on that, you will get drivers. See, you click on that, you will get the drivers. See, all these drivers are nothing but the kernel based. Okay, um annual update. Okay, so you will be having, Bluetooth. Okay, BIOS. Okay, um audio. Okay, uh, fingerprint, if it is, because this is a hardware, it requires some software. Software means not normal software. It is like, that taking that information to you on the operating system or to the application through some driver only. Okay, so all, these network, all these things are nothing but, these are all main things that you have to just remember. It is mainly like, kernel is going to get updated. Kernel is going to get updated. Now you got basic amount of the information. Either it is Windows, okay, Linux, or, Mac OS, okay, or even your Android mobile or iPhone, whatever it is, the thing is the same. The thing is the same. Just remember that. Okay, so they were doing that. Entire applications for non-GUI and, mainly complex systems when they are developing. But now all of a sudden, Xerox, okay, Xerox has a GUI computer. Okay. Okay. So their first GUI computer, it used to be looks like something this. Okay, like calculator. Okay, something. Okay, that looks to be something like that. Even before Mac or, Apple has created it. Okay, so now what happened? But they did not focus on this particular business at all. They are mainly focusing on, their printers, their hardware related things, their, Xerox machines. Okay, huge business for them. This will be like, peanuts for them. Okay, and they didn't expect like every home will have a computer or something like that. Okay, but they had very good product, but, they don't want to, they were not showing interest in like, getting it more simplified, so that a common man can also see. This is a common computer. Okay, and if you see this particular date, okay, uh, yeah, this is the discs and all, how it is in magnetic tapes they used to store. Okay, so what they have done is, now Xerox has got that. Okay, now people like, Steve Jobs and, uh, these guys, they started developing their own, like even Bill Gates was also part of it. Okay. And then which is like, the new operating system which um, Steve Jobs is planned to develop. And then after that, something, after some point of time, they met the people in Xerox and they had a deal, and they brought all that, operating system back on board with them. Okay. With whom? The Apple. Okay. And they started developing that particular operating system. Okay. So it required, a lot of rework need to be done, but they have done something very, you know unimaginable, that mouse and all, like, that time it is like, mouse moving itself, it is a very big thing. Okay. The technology they got, and they have like, GUI layouts and all, like, some applications, all these things they have developed, but it is not to an extent where it is can be personally used. Okay. The performance issues that this and all might be there. So Steve Jobs thought, okay, I will do it. Okay. So then what he did, he actually, they met Xerox and they bought it, and then now they started it. In between, okay, um, Apple came, sorry, Steve Jobs came out, or Bill Gates came out and started Windows. Okay. And there was an allegation that he, took some code from whatever uh, the Apple code. Okay. To Windows. That is the allegation, but it's nothing point of our discussion now. But now what happened is, like, Windows, when it started, they also released the Windows Windows 1 operating system. Okay. They also, like, got into the business, and they started, like, developing um, the Windows operating system. Windows 1 release date, let me check. Windows 1 release date, yeah, it is 95. Okay. And it is like, mm, yeah, Windows is 1985. But the best part is, before to that, who has released Apple first first Apple PC. It is 76, they have released it. Okay. But it is like, having a lot of issue. Then that only, the Macintosh is after that. Okay. In 1984. Okay. This one, like, first. Okay. Mac OS, first Mac OS. This is 2000. No, it is should be 1995. Okay, release 1984, I think. Yeah, January 20, developed Motorola's expressive system, released a Jan along with the Macintosh 128. Yeah, this is like, some hardware they bought it, and they have put their own kernel, and they have developed it. Okay. So let it be whatever it is. Okay. That's a background story, how we have reached to Windows. Okay. Now, how many Windows are there like this? Again, in another next 2 years, they have released Windows 2. Okay. Windows 1, we'll see that alone. Okay. Windows 1 OS, how it used to look. This used to look, it almost looks the same, like, Xerox OS only, but it is mainly on DOS operating system. Okay. Like this. Okay. Got it right. Okay. This is Windows. But when the revolution happened, till, like, they have versioning also, Windows uh, you know uh, 2.1, like 8.1, those kind of versionings are also there. But their main operating system breakthrough happened exactly after, like, Windows 3 they have developed it, and Windows 3 they have developed it, and then in 95 they have released Windows 95. This is their main turning point business. Okay. There, like they have developed this, we don't develop any computer. We will develop CD. You go buy motherboard from Intel, buy processor from Intel or any other one like Motorola, but usually in Intel, and buy, some, what I can say, some some RAM from someone. Okay, you build your own PC. Okay, and you can create your own, like, just buy operating system from me. Just buy operating system, I'll give you the CD. People rushed in and they started buying it because they got the flexibility. They can upgrade the, hardware and kernel. Got it right? Hardware they can upgrade, so kernel operating system provider will provide. Okay, application you can do whatever you want. Okay, the hardware earlier, if you take still now, Mac OS got a problem that the hardware you have to buy from him only, kernel is from him only, operating system from him only. There is some flexibility with applications which from his store only, not from some other stores, but from his store only. He wants us to download, but we have a flexibility of installing using some DMG files from other sites also. But usually it is like, he wants to control everything. Okay, so Windows, then Windows 98 is one operating system. Sorry, 98. And Windows XP, Windows 98. After that, Windows NT. Windows, like, they came up with Windows NT, even like, networking terminal and all these things. Windows networking, they say, but it is like, having some inbuilt networking modules and everything, like, they have kept it. And then Windows XP came in. This is like, the best, OS of that particular, entire, even if you take, people started using this XP, Windows XP till I think 2010 or 2000. I think some people used it to 10 also. Okay, then Vista came. This actually, to be frank, this did not click through very well, but it has paved out a path for, Windows 7. Like, what are the mistakes they have done? Windows 7, which is like, the same operating system which I am also using it now. Okay, then Windows completely UI they have changed in Windows 8, but people did not like it. And as a major version, the revamped UI has again changed it to, whatever you see, Windows 10 and all that came along with 8.1. Okay, then Windows 10 is the latest version of the this thing, and released very recently Windows 11. Okay, but it is now not in public, in the sense like not for commercial or anything. Okay, it is in trial versions. Okay, so these are all like, these things. Okay, but to be frank, will it be possible for you to do only the business with only this thing? Okay, I am using the Windows operating system, but to be frank, yeah, this came along with my laptop, the license. Okay, whichever the old laptop I have it now, it is like, I am holding it with that same license. I did not buy anything. I don't want to buy also. Okay, so customers, like, retail customers will be like this. Okay, there should be some sort of, commercial side also will be there. So they sell, but they don't make much business from here. From where they make much business is here. Okay, that is not only the consumer operating system. Okay, home editions, all these things. Here also you will be having home edition. Okay, and professional edition. Okay, pro edition means professional edition. Okay, ultimate also will be there something. Okay, but I don't require. So this is the, this is the Windows versions for consumers. Okay, but this is for Windows servers also require. You know, Windows servers are also there. Okay, this Windows servers, when they have started, Windows 2003 is the first Windows which they have started. Remember the versions, why I am telling that. Okay, then Windows 2008. Okay, Windows 2012. Okay, and they have given some features and patches in 2012 R2 is also there. Okay, uh, Windows 2016, Windows 2019. Now Sarju or someone said last week 2021 has come, right? 22. Someone told me. I don't know. Someone told me, sir, Windows 2021 or 22. Latest Windows server. 2018. What? 2018 is the date. Server is like, 2019 only. Maybe that might be in. Yeah, it is there. It is. If you want anyone to download Windows Server 2016, Windows Server virtual machine. Just go to this particular location. Okay, this one I think. Here you will be having, virtual machines, all Windows related, everything will be there. Okay, this is like, Windows 10, Windows, all other operating systems will be there, but main thing what I wanted is Windows download, Windows Server. Okay, let me go here now. From Windows, come Windows only, you will get it, nothing to worry. Evaluation versions. Yeah, this one. Okay. You go to the eval center. Okay, you get like, 22, 2019 and 22 operating systems are there. 19, okay, 16, 12. Okay, remaining are deprecated, means they are not supporting it anymore. Okay, that's the thing. Superb. Okay, now you must be knowing. Just go here, select the Azure. Okay, download it. That's enough. Okay, you get it, launch the application. Okay, um like VirtualBox, create your own image, how to launch ISO file like that. This will be ISO file. After you downloading it, it asks for, you enter some information, you give that information, click download, you'll get it, and then you install it in your VM. Just do it as you wish, like VirtualBox or VMware, whatever you want. Okay, so this is about, the operating system, the background, and what are the versions. Okay, why I'm giving referring to these names. Okay, definitely you know that some like, deprecated versions, some deprecated versions of operating systems, like, XP traffic is coming, Vista traffic is coming. Okay, like through user agent or something, like, some browser is sending from very old operating system. Okay, that means something suspicious. Okay, you should remember that how it is, and all we'll see it later. Okay, but you should remember that. Okay, maybe Windows 7 accepted, maybe Windows 8 accepted, but Windows 95, will you be able to allow that traffic? No, that might be like, no normal person will never use it. Only in exceptional cases, someone is trying out his own old PC or something like that. for showing for YouTube video recording or something like that. Hey, see, this is my old PC, something blogging or something. Okay, apart from that, no chance. Okay, just remember. And here also, like deprecated most, like 2003 and all people, like they don't use now. Okay, 2008, yes, there are chances, but mainly 2012 and 2016 you are seeing nowadays, and people are almost moved to 2019. Almost most of them are 2016 is by default, like majority share, and 2019 is also majority share, but 2012 and 8 it will be like 50-50 kind of thing. Okay, but 2003 means something suspicious. Okay, some servers. Okay, make sure those kind of things you have to monitor. How we can monitor it, that's we'll see later. Okay, now if you see this computer, okay, uh, this computer, you'll be having C drive, D drive, all those things are there, right? C drive, D drive. I have only C drive, but if you see it, okay, then that is called as what, that is called as partition. We called it as partition. Okay, so that, yeah, let me open this. Okay, so if you have remember that if you have a computer, okay, what you'll do is, this is like entire thing, some part of it will be like used by operating system. Okay, like this is used by operating system, this is required for operating system. Okay, like all your kernel, everything, all DLL files, everything is here. Okay, required things. Okay, and okay, and what you'll do is, you will also give, you will be installing this, right? You have to install this operating system, right? Okay, in some some of the drive, that is a C drive. Okay, this entire thing is C drive. Okay, C drive. In this C drive, you will have operating system files and some user files also you can have. Okay, in this operation, and this is a D drive, and this entire thing, whatever it is there, this where it is, yeah, this entire thing, okay, is what, your hard disk, your hard disk. Okay, this is C drive. In that, operating system files are there, user files are also there, and D drive. You have done partition. I have not done the partition. I have done only one partition. In that only operating system file, in that only user files will be there. Okay, and this is the D drive. Okay. Okay, this entire thing is a hard disk. Okay, just remember. Okay, this is really you chopped it, the hard disk, really you chopped it into two pieces? No, it is logically you have written. Okay, so we have to tell C drive and D drive if someone is communicating in the real world. Okay, these are all what logical drives. But it is only one hard disk. This is just logically for your for your understanding only. Okay, logical drive, which is like real partition didn't do any this thing. Okay, if you have inserted two hard disks, that is like, yeah, C drive and all I will have this thing, D drive and all I'll keep something like that. That is two hard disk related thing. Okay, now this is like contains what it is. This is called as file structure. You have this one, and also C drive you have. In that C drive you have not only that. Okay, you'll also have some other in that particular operating system, not only your operating system files, but also you have some user files, like somewhat this, okay, this, okay, this is not, okay, this one, okay, all these things you'll be having it, okay. So these are all some, these are all operating system related, okay, and these are all download and all. You have some your personal information, something related to tech, or something related that, okay. So these are all documents are there. These are all documents. In that, files will be there. In each document, files will be there. So operating system files and folders, user files and folders, okay. Operating system files and OS files and folders, user files and folders. Like now, sometime before we have seen, okay, my computer, C drive, um, you know, this one, program files, okay, Windows, yeah, Windows, okay. If you see, this is operating system files, okay. These are all supported file required for the Windows. Maybe programs also, some applications which are installed, maybe that is also something, okay. Now I would like to say that when you go to the C folder, okay, uh, give me some, give me something, okay, yeah. See this, I went to the C drive. There are few important things you have to remember. Forget about this thing. Program files and program x86 both are same. This is 64-bit related things and all will get installed here, because your operating system 64-bit will support both 32-bit application. If you want to install, that also will get installed. 64-bit, if you want, you can install, but if it is a 64 you install, it will come and get installed over here in that particular program files. If it is a 32-bit application which you are trying to install, it will get installed over here, okay. So now this this particular thing contains these folders, remember, and these are like drivers, forget about that, but mainly folders, operating system level, these are, okay. Perf logs, okay, perf logs, okay. First, the what are the various folders in your C drive? Let us see. Okay, let me put it in this. Perf logs. What is meant by perf log? Your system got crashed. Your network got disconnected. No, without knowing, some drivers corrupted. You try to do anything right on that during that particular thing, that action, whatever you say, right? All of them are getting recorded in perf log. Means like CPU too much has taken, immediately that gets recorded over here, okay, where in perf logs. See here, nothing is there because it's not, I have not triggered, I have by default disabled it. It should be there, okay, if you have enabled it. So performance issues related logs, okay, that will be recorded over there, okay. Next, program files, okay, okay, all the reports, whatever they send this report to Microsoft Windows, all those things are getting stored here. I disabled it by default. If it is you have enabled to send some reports to report it to Windows, this issue, then you could have actually seen all those reports over there. But is it required for our SOC thing? Are we going to analyze these logs? Mostly no, we are not even looking into it, okay. Yeah. Next, programming files, okay. What is meant by programming files? Okay, this is like all installation software. All installation softwares will be there in program files, like your Splunk, Zoom, okay. all of them are there here. This can be, you know, it can be two folders. Sometimes if it is yours is 64-bit, you will see an extra 886, means 36-bit operating system softwares which you installed will be there in this particular folder. Okay, just remember that. Okay, that's good. Okay, now next, there is something called as users. Okay, users. Okay, remember this, guys. Users, users is nothing but, okay, if you have 10 accounts in this operating system, how you can manage to create 10 accounts? Go to user. Okay, manage another account. Okay, you can create a new account. Okay, I can create it. Okay, now I can create you know uh, Raj. Okay, standard user. Okay, create an account. Okay, now after creating an account, okay, if you get into, Raj, I have created it. Okay, I did not give any name or anything. Okay, so, oh god. Okay. Public, give me a second. If you create, if you log into Raj, again I have to log off, I guess. I think. Okay, then after that it will, if you create any files and all, it will be there in that particular folder. Okay, um, so just remember that these users is like number of accounts created for each user. Specific files are stored in respective user folders. Example, if you see the here, Lenovo, anyhow I'm using all the Lenovo user related things are there. Public means like, to the, like, to for everyone. Okay, but if it is to the Lenovo, it will be like, it will be showed over here. Okay, if I get inside, I'll see all these things, my pictures, my domain, all these things. Okay, so that is how it is. Okay, just remember that. Okay, and next, um, we have is which one, where it is, yeah, this one, Windows. Okay, so this is like, this folder is basically contains the, the code to run the operating system, and the same like, other tools that are required for your, you know operating system to run, and all your hardware, software, everything to work, how it will interact with your applications, how this, uh, everything like required for your operating system to run, all of them based on this Windows folder. Okay, and Windows. Okay, it contains all the files and folders to run your operating system. Okay, to run your operating system, and and tools some tools also, not only operating system. Example, I will, ping, I have run it. Okay, that is also like, because of, some ping is installed somewhere there. Okay, if I'll use traceroute, it is working, some utility. Okay, the tool. Okay, and all those things. Okay, just give me a second, there are some other tools. Okay, so I just given like, ns lookup, what means like gives me what is my DNS server. Okay, so that is also one tool. Okay, I asked, and from there I got it. Okay, so this is first thing which you have to remember. The operating system will look like this. Don't think that I'm teaching you some operating system classes, but the clarity is required, and it is like some people know that what are these things, might have not known, but slowly we will get little step by step. Okay, now next thing what we are going to do is we are getting into something called as file permissions. Okay, now this is the like folders, and you need permissions also. Okay, for all those things, who can access what, all these things, correct, right? Okay, so this is usually who will set in any organization, who will set the file permissions usually? Anyone?
Admin.
Admin, perfect. Admin will set the permission. Okay, say, and sometimes administrators are not there, and they have told that, okay, this computer you are asking, hey, come and install this software for me, hey, come and install this software for me. You're raising a ticket, he's coming and installing, and it is for your project related only. So 5 6 times you have asked the administrator to come and install it. Yes, he fed up with that, and he has told, man, you raise a request, you raise a request for privileges, for the privileges. Okay, for the privileges. Here this guy is really an administrator who is having all permissions, but you are not an admin department person. Okay, for your computer, I mean, like as a user, you are just a computer user. Okay, so you need to install some softwares to work. Okay, for them you have to raise a request. You are asking this every one day once. Okay, and it has come to know to the admin team that, okay, this guy is like somewhat requires some privileges. Okay, so immediately what they will give, they will give you privilege for your account, for user account. Means you are a normal user now, they give some privileges, means like they give some extra permissions to you. Okay, now you become from normal user to privileged user. Okay, so privileged users will be like almost kind of admin users kind of thing, but they are like for uh, you know the role of theirs is itself administration, and the role for you is like to give this. Maybe it is this privileges is only for that computer what they have given, but admins will have privileges on any computer. Okay, but it is like privilege is always a privilege. Got it, right? Okay, so first of all, oh sorry man, sorry man, sorry. First of all, okay, I would like to uh, first let me put in this way. I'll take another 10 minutes. Okay, okay, let it be, man. I'm least bothered. Anyhow, we are going to wind up in some time. Okay, so here only I'll write. Okay, so the permissions permissions. Okay, when you apply permission, okay, remember two things. Okay, you can have, okay, in a organization, yours is an IT department, and IT department individually some people are forget this is your development team, you all working for one project. Okay, okay, you are all working for some project. Okay, 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 okay. Now to this particular project individually, when you or individually, each of the person is called as a user. Okay, okay, like this is also user. Okay, like these are all like users. Okay, all of them are users. Okay, and your entire team together, group of users is called as groups. Group, group or groups. Okay, user and group. Okay, now permission that whatever for an individual user or for a group are of these type. Okay, first is full control. Okay, full control. Okay, what is meant by full control? Okay, for the user, for a user or all the users or a group or like this kind of thing. One more thing, I'll keep it because sometimes what happens in an organization, you are all belong to one. This is a group one and this is group two. Okay, and these are all belong, this group belongs to one department, that is like can be a dev department. Okay, and there could be something which is similar thing like this, but that is HR department. Okay, okay, this is HR department, just in case this is HR department. Okay, okay, now if you see some things, okay, here I'll write it. Okay, 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 now if you take this thing, there is something called as first level of permission is called as full access. Full access, full control, full control, you can say it as full control. Yeah, it is called as full control only. Okay, so what it is, this is like a user or users within a group. Okay, group or group or groups, anyone, okay, can actually can be owner of a folder. Means like if you take a folder, my computer download, you can take, yeah, you can take this properties. Okay, um security, yeah, this one. See, this is a full control. Okay, full control. What is this full control says that? Okay, it allows a user or users, multiple users or a group or groups. Okay, means like as I said, it allows a user, means this user. Okay, okay, or group or groups. Okay, users or group or groups, anyone. Okay, okay, uh, I can set the permission for others. Okay, they can actually read, write and modify, means anyone can come and work on this particular file. Okay, on this particular folder. Okay, that is called as full control I am giving. Okay, that is called as full control I am giving. Where it is here, full control I am giving. Okay, so if I click on this, okay, whether for this particular user, whether full control I can, this is a like system, means people who are like going to get everyone who is there in this on this computer can actually can access. This is like one more Lenovo user which I'm currently logged in. Okay, and this is the administrator, and I can click on access. Then I can give you check in my organization, like users and groups. Okay, users and groups. Okay, uh, you know, like uh, in this particular, computer can actually have control full control means, just remember in a simple way. Okay, allows the users, groups and groups. Okay, any of these categories to set the ownership of the folder. Okay, like adding the permissions, modifying the read write. Okay, we will see read write and all these things. Okay, all such things. If I want, I can disable the full control. Okay, means you can do modify, you can do read write, you can do list folders, you can do read, everything you can do on this particular folder. Which one? Mr. Administrator can do all these things. Okay, if I want, I can disable this full control. Okay, I can give specific permissions. Okay, see, I can disable this. I will ask administrator to have only read permissions. Okay, okay, so when I say full means he can modify, he can read write, he can list folders, he can read and only write. Okay, some special permissions are there. Nothing is required. So full control means read, write, execute, only read, only write, all everything will be enabled. Okay, means read only these things, modify, read, write, only these three are main things. Okay, and list folder contents and all these things are just we are reading that. Okay, content. Okay, so first full control. Okay, first type of permission for a person, everything he can do using this file, or a group can do anything. Means I have created a folder, okay, in my organization. Okay, and when I specify like group of users, like development group one, like that. Okay, in that group 10 people will be there, all 10 of them. Okay, if I give access to that group as allow, full control allow, they can come and do a folder or file, whatever, read write. Okay, they can modify the file and they can save it. Okay, they can run it from somewhere, and they can do whatever they want. Is that particular part is clear or not? First I want that particular clarity I need.
Yes, sir.
100%. A
Yeah.
file is there somewhere, whether it is in your computer or somewhere. Okay, and organization, like what they do is, as when you enter in, they will create, you will be added to a group. Means yours might be some development team, SOC team will have a group. Under that group, by default your admin will add, because they don't want for individually, they give permissions for every time. Okay, so you will be added to the group. Okay, so under that group, okay, uh, you are a person. For you on your computer, you will have some permissions and all. Say for example, if you take say, go here, let me check whether C folder, yeah, C folder, properties, sharing. Okay, so if you see this particular thing, okay, okay, so trust installed, users have got only read, list folders, and execute and read. There is no write permissions for like Mr. Boya. But whereas an administrator has got all the permissions. Okay, why is this happened? Okay, why is this user have only these read, write, read, list, execute? If you try, when I logged in, if I want to let me show, like virtual network. Okay, it is not there. Here only. If you see, I would like to I'm logged in as Boya, correct, right, or Boya. Okay, now when I have to do some edit, what it is asking me, it is asking me like, I should be administrator or something like that. Correct, right? Okay. So example here only you take network application only I have here. Okay. When I clicked on it, okay, open, what? Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry, man. I don't want, man. Okay. Take this. Okay. If you see this particular thing, okay, uh, I would like to see the properties. Okay. Directly when I clicked, it is asking, you should be having, you can go through it. Okay. Like this. Some kind of, sometimes for you to install some applications, log in as administrator, like that it will be asking, right? Okay. That is like, um, you don't have permissions to write or anything. Okay. Or there. Okay. So, or execute or something, installing or anything. Okay. So just remember that a group or a user or someone, like some file is there. Okay. Some file is there. Okay. If a user can read, write everything, all the permission, you can give it to a user, or you can give it to a group or groups. Okay. Like, I want, to give for 3 people this file permission, that is in this group also. That time I don't specify these groups. I'll specify only these 3 users. Okay. Because they are the only responsible to edit that file. Okay. Like some kind of tender file or something. Some tender means not tender chicken or anything. Something like, the file which is, which they make it for, some contract, some civil project or something like that. Okay. Construction or something. Okay. Okay. So this particular thing, okay, only these users will have. So that time it is one specific user or multiple users. Okay. Or this file is applicable to edited by anyone. It can be a notepad file, it can be executable file, or it can be anything, a folder, or it can be anything, whatever it is. Okay. So it is user or users or group or groups. You can give permissions to, you know, to a file or folder. You know, it can be a full means full control means everyone can access and modify it, access and do whatever means like what are all other permission. Full means which and all comes to modify means like, I would like to change from raghav.txt to ramesh.txt, or I can change the file to, something. Okay. I can move from this location to another location. All such things are modify. Modify means, okay, he can read, write, and execute. Okay. Modify means, okay, like he can read, write, and execute. Okay. Then here that is modify. Okay. And there is another permission called as give me a second, guys. Okay. uh, Read, write, execute list of folders. Okay. So this is allows like, your user or, folders or subfolders. In this you can specify there are 3 folders are there. In these 2 folders, okay, uh, allow only see the content of it only. But after once if we get into that folders, and no files will be shown. Okay. What is there we don't show. Okay. That is called as list folder contents. Folder contents only. Okay. This allows to list the content for, the files are folders, but actual content means files also it will display, but you cannot open and see that file. Okay. And read, write. Okay. Read is separate and write both will also be there, and some read only, write only, Okay. And special permissions will be there. Okay. Um, but I don't think how we can set the special permissions. I never tried edit special permissions. I think some permission we have to set, I guess. First, we have to create something, I guess, before we do the special permissions. Okay, fine. Okay. Uh, Give me a second. Control X. DNS we logged in. Then after that, Control Z, Control C. Okay. Mm, okay. See, I have a folder. Okay. That is C colon. Okay. So this gives me to C colon. Okay. What kind of permissions I have. Okay. Um, in this, the first it will start with, for the group, what permission you have, user, what permission you have. In that, just see one letter you see. OICIF, one letter only. Later we'll see what is, why they have mentioned bracket and all. Okay. But see, this is, um, F means full access, full control. Okay. And if I show you, okay, some user file, say for example, this one debug is there, right? Let me take that, copy it. Okay. It might be late for some people. We are wrapping up in a couple of minutes. Okay. Paste it. Okay. See this particular one. Okay. Where it says that, okay, F is full control, means like everything is there. Then OI means object is inherited. Uh, CI means container inherited. So that is okay. We'll see these things later. Okay, I will explain you. Okay, this is like, command, is used to check file permissions or file folder permissions. I give only directly folder I gave. That time also I got the permissions. Okay, so that is the thing. I think it is too much for you guys for today. Okay, let's see tomorrow. Okay, yeah. So yeah, here it is. Stop recording.